I'm Ellis Hamburger with The Verge here at South by Southwest on a roof with Foursquare CEO Dennis Crowley. How's it going, Dennis?
Doing well. How you doing?
Doing very well, thanks.
Right.
So it's been a few years since you guys made a big splash at South by Southwest. What's changed for you guys since then?
Well, for us, I mean, we launched 4 years ago, and we're a big company now. We've got 160 people across 3 offices. We've got 30 million people using our products, and it's just like Foursquare is big now. And so we came down here 4 years ago just to introduce what we were doing, and really just to see if anyone even thought it was interesting. Like, hey, if we take game mechanics and overlay it with the real world with check-ins, like, is that something you guys like? And to come back 4 years later and to still see, all these places trending with hundreds of check-ins, like it's awesome for us.
Seems like you guys have started to really focus on recommendations, and I mean, I found an amazing coffee shop yesterday.
Yeah, oh, that's great.
Like, when did you kind of start to think that maybe that's where you needed to head?
Actually, we started thinking about that when we were still doing Dodgeball while we were at Google, and we had all this when I say all this check-in data with Dodgeball, it wasn't a lot. It was probably tens of thousands of check-ins, as opposed to the 3 billion that we have with Foursquare. But we always knew that there was really good data in the signal that these people go to these types of places, and this is where their friends go, and these are the places that they go back to. And we knew we wanted to do that with Foursquare. We just knew it was very difficult to get a lot of that check-in data in order to do that. Mm-hmm. And so that was one of the big original ideas with Foursquare. It's like, let's try to turn it into a game initially to see if we can get people to give us a lot of that data, and then we'll be able to kind of flip the switch on it. And it took us a couple years to do it before it's like, all those check-ins that you thought you were just giving us as part of this game. Well, it turns out that they go into this recommendation engine, and you've basically been telling us what you like for the last 2 years, and now we can tell you guys like the places that we think you would like and the places that your friends like.
And I know you guys this week launched an update, so it makes it even easier to check in, maybe from 10 seconds to more like 3.
Yeah.
What was kind of the impetus behind making a move like that? I mean, are people having check-in fatigue, or are you just trying to make it as easy as possible to provide that data to you guys?
Even if it means taking the check-in experience from 15 seconds down to 10 seconds, it's great. And then a lot of the work that we're doing now, trying to understand the passive signals that come from your phone. Like, can we do things where we buzz your phone and we remind you to check in, or we just automatically check you in if you've been in the convention center for 10 minutes or so, if your phone's been there. Like, can we take those signals and turn those signals into an easier way for people to share?
I think that's one of the big questions of our age, is how to not be annoying with push notifications.
Yeah.
Is that in part a hardware limitation? Because let's say on iOS you can't be constantly pinging to see what somebody's up to, or is it something that you guys kind of need to work on with science and algorithms?
The background location stuff is a little bit tricky just because it drains the battery very quickly.
Right.
And this is true on iPhone, it's true on Android. And so, we launched a feature in 2011 called Radar. And the idea is like you turn Radar on, and as you just walk through the city, Foursquare just tells you about the things that are interesting. And it works, but it might not be worth the 40% battery trade-off that you get from it. But I think we all recognize internally as a company, this is the direction that all this stuff is going. There's a great example that I reference all the time. Like, I've left the office back in New York at 9 o'clock once, and then as soon as I leave the office, and as soon as my phone moves 2 blocks north, Foursquare can sniff that out. It's like, oh, you're on the move and you're heading in this direction. Did you know that 5 of your friends are checked in at the karaoke place 3 blocks away? And it buzzes, and I look at my phone. I'm like, of course I want to know that, and of course I want to stop by just for a second.
So here at South by, people discovery apps have been popular, and you keep seeing iterations, but nothing that really makes a whole lot of sense. Like, well, we'll buzz your phone because this person knows your cousin and you also like Mad Men. Does that work, or are we going to reach a point where this is really valuable for people that you don't know, or is it just on Foursquare where you want to find people that you do know?
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because you have to sniff out someone's context, and so you can't just be buzzing people all the time about every little thing that we think might be interesting. So one of the things that we're getting good at is recognizing, hey, in this city, in this neighborhood, are you a local or are you a tourist? Does your phone spend a lot of time in Austin? Well, no, but it spends it spends 4 days a year. And so Foursquare has it understands which neighborhoods I know about. And so if I can go outside of those neighborhoods, maybe that's when it turns the dial up. And it's now we're going to start telling you more aggressively about the things that are interesting in this neighborhood. But once you get back to someplace familiar, it just turns the dial down a little bit.
We're here at South by this year. Where's Foursquare next year at South by? What does it look like? Because you guys update the app every 2 weeks. It could be a completely different animal.
From a UX perspective, it's hard to tell because we're always doing so much work there. But You know, like a big part of the Foursquare journey has been telling the story to people as it evolves. And that's why we come down here every year, because it's like a different chapter of what we're doing. In 2009, it was, you know, points and badges. And in 2011, we showed what we were doing with the Explore recommendation engine and the Amex deals for the first time. And, you know, now I think people are starting to really understand like the personalized local search and the social maps aspect of it. And I think a year from now, that'll be a lot more commonplace. At the same time, I'm still psyched that I can pull up my phone at any moment and see that, hey, there are 600 people checked in at the Driscoll, and there are 200 people checked in at the convention center, and use that as a guide for where to go next. Like that's always a lot of fun.
Thanks so much for coming out with us, Dennis.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.